Starting on page 29, 113 Church Hill, Loughton, Essex. Mr. Johnson.
We were going to put that to the end.
Oh, sorry. Members, the applicant's agent is running late because of traffic, so I'm using Chairman's prerogative to actually put this application at the end in order that they can make it back to, well, come to this meeting. Moving on to agenda item 12 then. 11 we've deferred for a site visit. Agenda item 12, Hainault Hall, 173 Lambourne Road, starting on page 53. Mr. Johnson, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. This application proposes an amendment to a previous application for the retention of the height of the rear pool building, incorporation of a roof light windows, excavation of pool building by some 1.2 meters to create a mezzanine floor above the pool, alterations to and raising of the roof of existing garage building, and formation of basement and existing garage building to be used as a gym with rooms above. The recommendation from officers is to refuse planning permission. The reasons for refusal are set out there. The proposal will result in significant harm to the setting of the listed building by the increased height of the proposed garage/pool building, the harm caused to the appearance and special interest of the listed building, and the wider street scene of Maypole Drive. And this is supported by policies as set out there under the adopted plan and the local plan. Second reason for refusal, due to the close proximity of the proposal to number 7 Maypole Drive. The proposal, by reason of its excessive height, would cause significant harm to the outlook and light afforded the inhabitants of this dwelling house when viewed from its rear habitable room, glazing and garden area. And the proposal is subject to adopted local plan and emerging local plan policies. So we can see the site here, and for reference, this is number 7 Maypole as referenced in the second reason for refusal, and it's the increase of this building and the consequent impact on that and the listed building. Just for members' information here, numbers, items, the listed building and the planning application are being considered together. So we have an aerial view of the site there. Right. Now we can see the listed building in the background there, and this is the proposed development to which the extensions are proposed from its front elevation and also from its rear. This second slide shows the proposed development and the consequent increase in its height and design to which officers raise concern, resulting in reason number refusal 1. The report sets out that these alterations, given the proximity of the building to the listed building, are excessive and insensitive to the character of the listed building, and as such would be considered harmful, contrary to policies as set out in the reasons for refusal. And again, just showing the existing situation and contrasting that with the proposed amendments. As members can hopefully appreciate the extent of the design changes and the increase in the proposal. We have the footprint alterations. We have sections through various elements of the building. and the photographs show the existing building as it currently is from its various angles. And this photograph shows Maypole Drive and where the impact would be. Just if I go to with this photograph here, the council's argument has been set out largely in the reasons for refusal and in the report before members, and as stated is recommended for refusal for 2 reasons as previously explained. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Before I invite the applicant's agents to speak, members will note that this has been called in by Councillor Sunga. I'm led to believe that this has been in consultation with Councillor Sandler, the ward councillor. Mr. Akol, you have, I'm going to allow 3 minutes because it's 2 applications in one effectively. You may start.
Yes, my name is Moses Ekole, planning consultant. We have 2 applications here, but I wanted to make some corrections to what the planning officer said. What you see on that screen as on the whole being previously approved, the proposal now only relates to the other building further, if you, the pool building, so the one with the roof lights you see back there. The basement was granted 1.2 meters. The applicant has decided not to excavate that basement. So all the applicant is asking is to increase the height of the pool building at the back of the property, not to touch the garage. The reason for that is to, first of all, to compensate for the loss of 1.2 meters, which relates to the basement that has now been omitted, and that to enable the, the introduction of a mezzanine roof above the pool, and that is the purpose of this application. When you look at elevation 2, they are introducing splitting the approved roof light into 2 to allow sufficient light inside at the mezzanine level. We looked at this application and seen that the overall height of the pool building, if increased by 750 mils, will only be 5.5 meters high. The listed building grade 2 is 19 meters high. So when you look at it from there, go back please to the floor plan or the roof plan you just showed earlier, please. There's a slide you showed that shows the plan form. Again, that one, yeah. So right at the back there, that building there relates to the back of the listed building, and it has no impact to the front part of the listed building where there are special, architectural interest. Now, in relation to number 7, Maypole Drive, the impact is not going to be different from what is there now, because there's a separation there from the boundary, and there is about 3 meters high hedge at the boundary. And the roof form, as you see, is a hipped roof, so it slopes this way. You can't even see that pool building if increase in height when you're standing at the rear garden of number 7. There are no windows at all serving number 7 on that side elevation. With the street, it is almost 20 meters from the street, so you really don't see the visual intrusion from that perspective. So we think the application complies with the policy, and we seek your hand in approving this particular application.
Thank you. Do you mind switching off your microphone?
Say again?
Do you mind switching off your microphone?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I would normally go to the ward councillor, but I think Councillor Sunga, as the councillor that called this in, wanted to kick off.
Thank you, Chairman. This application was brought in front of Chigwell Parish Council, and we looked at this, scrutinised this with a lot of thought. There was the details that are given out tonight are a little bit more comprehensive, so I've got more now to chew on, but I was a bit surprised that the planning officers, despite no objection from Chigwell Parish Council, wanted to object to this. The building itself is quite tall, it's 19 metres or so, and they've already got planning permission that's been granted, but this is an extension of about 1.5 metres. I think the council felt this was not going to be having a big effect on the neighbours at the back, and we didn't object to it, so I'll leave it up to the members for tonight to decide.
Anyone else? Councillor Sandler?
Thank you, Chairman. I note one of the main objections is loss of light. I'm a bit concerned as loss of light to where? Because if the house next door hasn't any windows on that side, who is it actually affecting to create loss of light, is my first question. My next statement is that building can't really be seen from the main road at all. I know it's a listed building, but you can't see the building to the side of it. And had they come along asking for an extension to the Grade 2 listed building, it would have to have been of a modern design, because it wouldn't have been able to fit in with the existing style. So I don't quite see the argument of not having a modern looking building next to an existing building of grading, because in the past, when we've given permission for Grade 2 listed buildings to have extensions, they can't look the same as the existing building. So I don't really see this being a problem, and I can't really agree with the officer's decision to refuse it.
It's currently a recommendation to refuse. Councillor Chris Pond?
Chairman, I think this might cause Mr Johnson a certain amount of surprise, nay anguish, but I agree 100% with what the officers say in their report. And I just don't think this is congruent with the listed building.
Councillor Lyon?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I have to say I agree with the officers' recommendations. This is an obtrusive-looking building. It's a bit confusing as to why the basement that was there, what made it a lot less obtrusive, was not considered to be adequate, because that took the building down. But when you actually look at this alongside the listed building, it looks pretty horrendous as far as I can see, and doesn't fit in with that building. It is a landmark building in Chigwell, and it's an exceptionally well-designed building as it was. And I know that only a few years ago there was a application for putting in plastic windows. So there's been a number of rather strange applications for this building, and I would support the officers and reject this.
Anyone else? So the officers are recommending we refuse permission. Unless I hear an alternative proposal, I intend to put that motion forward. All those in favour of refusing this application, please show. All those against?
2.
Any abstentions?
And 1.
So that application is refused. That's 12 and 13. Okay, we're going back now to agenda item 10. Do we know where the speaker is?
No, he's stopping the 11 loose horses.
Loose horses, okay. What do members want to do? Because it sounds like this gentleman's, I presume this gentleman is taking a bit of time to get here, and I want to make sure he has his fair crack at. Do you want to carry on, or have a sort? Right, okay. Right, moving back then to agenda item 10, 113 Churchill, Loughton, starting on page 29.